Hello, everybody. Welcome to this new Fireside hang. Today we have a very special guest. I'm a little bit scared because he's not online anymore. I don't know what happened. Oh, okay, you're here.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
you got me scared no, for a second. No, I didn't know where you were. Okay, well, so we have a very special guest today. So we have Kaleab, who's been around in the Tezos in the Midnight ecosystem, sorry, for a very long time. I think maybe even longer than me. I don't know. I've been around for like a year and a half. I have the feeling that I know you since the beginning. That I heard your name since the beginning. So you've been participating in different hackathons and winning them, and so you're a core contributor to Midnight with a lot of projects and apps and repos that a lot of our developers use. So yeah, maybe you can start by introducing yourself. You will do it better than me.
Yeah, thank you very much for your kind introduction. Yeah, actually, I've been in Midnight for 7, 8 months, but I think I got quite popular shortly. So I get to know Midnight around March, April uh, this year. And back then, I was getting started into ZK and like programmable cryptography. And that's where I found Midnight. And I like uh, the ideas, the principles behind Midnight Network. And I start to attend the hackathons. And the hackathon
Mm.
since Midnight was still in the early edge. Like when you go to the hackathon, you have a lot of ideas that are not explored yet, and you can build anything. So
Which one,
I
the first one that you attended?
the first one was African blockchain
Oh,
championship. But funny enough, the first project I submitted was for ecosystem hackathon. So I was participating in
mm,
African blockchain championship, and there were like some tools I really needed to use, but they were not there. So I started to write those tools for myself for the African blockchain hackathons. And by
mm.
very lucky coincidence, there is an ecosystem tooling hackathon happening at the same time. So I said, okay,
Okay.
let me submit my tool to the ecosystem tooling. Then I go back to African Blockchain Championship and submitted
Mm,
both projects. And I got some prizes for both of them. And
mm.
it was a very nice beginning. I couldn't wish for a better starting than winning two hackathons.
Yeah, yeah. So two birds, one stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Impressive. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like where are you from? Where are you right now? Like what you do when you're not contributing to Midnight.
Yeah. So I am Kaleab Abayna. I was born and raised in Ethiopia. I come to Turkey. Currently, I live in Turkey. I come here 4 years ago to do my undergraduate degree. I'm fourth year computer engineering student at Istanbul Technical University. In fact, right now I'm in a classroom. So I got into blockchain when I was second year. Like in Istanbul Technical University, you have a big student club called ITU Blockchain Club, and the students there were very hardworking, very dedicated, and they used to go to like Europe, America, South America, and they participate a hackathon and they win them. And I used to feel very like I want to be like them. I used to feel that
Mm.
envy, like a good type of envy. So they say like if you can't beat them, join them. So I joined the club and I started to learn how blockchain works, solidity, like ethers, all the blockchain like infrastructures, and uh, the blockchain industry is very early, so it's very easy to get an internship or to get a job to start getting involved really. So I did quite few internships. There was notably I did one here in Turkish National Research Center. There was a blockchain lab. So I went there. I learned from one of the best blockchain devs here, and that's how I get into it. And I traveled also like finally after 2 3 years. Now I'm able to travel all around the world and like attend the hackathon. It's a full circle. Like 3 weeks ago, I was in London. Then I went to Buenos Aires to do it global. So it was quite a rewarding journey. And exactly 1 year ago, I started to get interested into ZK. So all these years I was around in blockchain space, I used to hear like ZK now and then. I know what it is, but I never like really like analyzed what it is. So 1 year ago, I used to work for a company called Node 101, and we organize blockchain event. And we partner with global companies, and we organize event in Turkey. So back then we collaborated with a project called Aligned Layer. So what they do is DK proof verification. You have like layer 2 and Ethereum. So what Aligned Layer does is it would aggregate the proof and verify them and post it to Ethereum, because verifying proofs directly on Ethereum is very expensive. So our company needs to do like an introduction to them. And at that time, there was nobody available to give an introduction to the company. So I was been in the ecosystem for a while. So they say like, read the documentation and give an introduction about Aligned Layer project. So I started to read the documentation, and one of the DevRel, she shared me like Notion file about ZK. And when I started to read about it, I was like, this is really interesting. Like you can have a real privacy, and you can generate a succinct proof that could be verified in one time. So I was hooked, and I started to like read all the blogs. Like I started to learn. There is a book called The Moon Maths that explains how finite field work, how elliptic curve, like the elliptic curve pairing stuff, and how actual ZK proofs work behind the scene. So I think that was a really good experience. And since like last year, December, November, like all I do is like read ZK. If I'm not in the classroom or if I'm not in the gym, like I'm reading about ZK. And I really believe like ZK would have an application outside blockchain, because you have you can actually prove a private data without revealing it. For me, it's a breakthrough. I don't know why it's not mainstream thing, because like how could you prove something without revealing it? On top of that, you can create a succinct proof. You have a very big execution. You can have a succinct proof that could be verified in an instant. So yeah, this is where I am right now. So this is my journey in blockchain, in short. I could go all day, but
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. Is ZK something popular at the university where you study?
not popular, but in ITU student club, we talked about ZK often.
Okay, great. And then what was your first contact with Midnight? Do you remember like the first time you read about it or you wanted to build something on Midnight?
Yeah. So a friend of mine actually recommended me to attend African Blockchain Championship. So I was like, back then I was reading about ZK, like if there is no ZK bounty, I'm not gonna attend the hackathon. So I was going through there and I saw Midnight, and oh, this is interesting. Like it's a blockchain based in ZK Snark. So I started to read the documentation. Actually, when I first read the documentation, I liked it because it explains what ZK is like for a person who never heard of ZK. When I was reading it, I know like all this stuff, but it was, if you don't know anything about ZK Snark, you can go to the Midnight documentation and understand. But after all the theoretical things are settled in, when I start to do the code, it was a bit challenging because, back then, even the examples you have to download the zip file from the website. There was not like a public GitHub repo. Now you can just git clone keyboard app. But back then you download the file, and the Lace wallet, like one of the problems I have back then was the Lace wallet was very unreliable, and it keeps failing. And when you like have all the files in one moment, like you don't know how they are situated, where is the API, where is the CLI file, where is the contract, like things are very mixed up, and it was a bit tough to get started. I think Midnight still, I would say it's a bit tough for newcomers, but as time goes by, you get used to it.
Yeah, I remember that. So actually, when we talked on Telegram and I was looking for our conversation, I opened it, and there was a zip file that I sent to you, like at the very beginning, with some example code. I think it was the example counter that was not on GitHub yet, and so it was a zip file, and yeah, so that's how it used to work at the beginning. So yeah, it's nice to be there from like at least a year or something, so you can see the progression and you can see the improvements that we made. Now it's a little bit easier for newcomers, to pick up the code, and to understand how it works. Yeah, so you were talking about the hackathon, your first hackathon. You created a tool during that hackathon. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so as I told you, when I first download the zip file, you have these files like different folders. You don't know where to start. And like after you write the contract, you don't know what to do next. And I was lost. But once I start to work on it, after a week or two, like I start to get the gist of it. Like you write the contract here, you compile it, you go to an API folder, you import the compiled contract, and you start to interact with them. Then you go to the CLI, you call the API. So I thought, what can I do to abstract this? And for example, if you want to write a React code, you can just write npx create React app or npx create Next.js app. So what if I can bring that to here? And that would be like very helpful for me, on also for other people. Actually, I saw like in hackathon submission, I saw people who are like using the tool. Let me also share it. It's a bit outdated right now because Midnight goes through updates every time. But back then it was really helpful for me and for people who use the tool. So that was my first app, and it reduced like setting up the whole Midnight environment, like getting the zip file, renaming the contract and stuff from like more than half an hour to like a few seconds. And the community showed me like a lot of support. Actually, that was like one of the reasons I'm still Midnight. Like whenever you do contribution, the community really like supports you, shows you appreciation. Then you say, okay, I'm gonna do more and like get more love from the community. Then yeah, then after the Midnight app, I submitted my project for African Blockchain Championship. Yeah, after that, next to that, which hackathon did I do? Then there is also another ecosystem tooling hackathon. So this time I thought, okay, we have this zip file, we have now npm create React app, but still people don't want to like go through all this thing just to write a compact code because they don't know compact, and like on top of that they have all these other extra files. So how can I make like compact very usable and like very friendly for the user? So the best way is like for people to write and experiment with compact code online. So I made an online compact IDE. For example, if you know Remix, there is a website called Remix. When you're trying to write a Solidity code, you could just write it on Remix and connect to like a wallet that's a fork of Ethereum and simulate the EVM environment. So my attempt was like to do something like that, but for Midnight, you'd only like write the code and the compact code and the compiler and the witness, sorry. And you can try if your code is working. If it works, you can just come to your file and like deploy it. So it's very like easy for you beginners to do that. And I was also like sharing my progress on LinkedIn and like Telegram, and so people who are interested to work with me start to like DM me, we're doing this Midnight project, like would you like to join us? Would you like to help us out in this area? And one of the people who I was talking to was Fairway Global. So I started to talk with them. I showed them my past project, and they were really impressed. And they were looking for a Midnight developer at the same time. So I said, yeah, we can work together. And I like the idea behind Fairway. I will talk about Fairway a little bit later. Then I start to work with Fairway. So what Fairway tries to do is now, like the Bitcoin DeFi is coming. There is like institutions they really want to get into the DeFi ecosystem, but there is one problem. Like, how do you, for example, if you're talking about Bitcoin DeFi, how do you know you're not lending your Bitcoin to a terrorist or for like North Korea? There is no way, because it's permissionless. And if you want to make it permission, then you have like your off-chain data, you have your passport. You cannot put that on blockchain because then it's going to be visible. So they were looking for how can we like make the Bitcoin DeFi, but a compliance Bitcoin DeFi. The government can rest assured that the Bitcoin is not using for the wrong purpose to fund a terrorist. So they were trying to use your government credential and create a ZK proof and access the DeFi platform. And they were thinking how we can integrate Midnight into our ecosystem. So what we're doing there in a nutshell is like creating a ZK proof from using your government credential. And because the Midnight has not, like Compact has not integrated signature verification, it's been a bit of problematic for us, but for now we're using a bit of a decentralized, centralized approach, and we're working with partners in Cardano, including Fluid Token and Sunday Swap and some other DeFi providers in Cardano ecosystem. And hopefully after Midnight gets into the mainnet, we would be working on Midnight, and we're very looking forward to the mainnet.
Yeah, so during the summit, I had the chance to meet some of your colleagues at Fairway. I think I met, is it the CEO and a guy from Finland?
Yeah,
He's the CEO, right? Yeah. Met
yeah.
him in
Both the CEO and
in the
the
lift.
COO were there. What did
Okay.
they tell you
Yeah.
about me?
No, we talked about Midnight and what they do at Fairway. So yeah, it was very interesting to meet them. What is the whole thing about Fairway? Do you just focus on like lending on Bitcoin, or do you have a more general purpose?
So we're not doing the DeFi structure, but we're doing the compliance layer, because the DeFi is unregulated. How can we make the DeFi regulated? Using by making sure both the borrower and the lender is compliant according to the rules and the regulation of the organization.
So the idea would be to use Midnight for the ZK part of the app, and then to use Bitcoin for the DeFi part.
Yeah, it could
Is
be
that correct?
Bitcoin, it could be ADA, it could be Night. It could be any kind of cryptocurrency lending, but we're focusing on Bitcoin because there is too many Bitcoin that is locked, not used, just staying in cold wallet. And the reason they're not using it because people are afraid to use it, because what if they're lending that money to someone who is not supposed to, who is illegal, and you don't want that.
Okay, great. Okay, so that was a little bit about your work at Fairway. Yeah, maybe we can go back on the hackathons. Maybe I would like to talk a little bit about the last hackathon that you did and the project that you submitted. And so I reviewed it and I found it very good. Like the contract was very well written and very interesting code. So would you like to talk a little bit about that project and the hackathon in general?
Sure. Also, I'd like to say something about the Midnight Summit in London and come to the hackathon.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Midnight Summit in London was a very nice experience. I've been working with my colleagues for 3-4 months, and I never get to see them in person. So I got a chance to meet them in person there, and to meet you and to meet all the people I've been talking on Discord. And when I see those people, even though I never met you, for example, when I saw you in London, I feel like I know you. You have all your friends, but you're not like physically together, and when you go to the summit, you feel like at home right away because you know all these people. So that was a really nice experience. I got the chance to meet people from Shielded and like get deeper understanding of like Compact and Midnight in general, and make new friends. It was a nice experience. Also in the hackathon, we like, since we are working on the compliance layer, we try to do something related. So when you are doing a KYC verification, for example, you do a liveness check, and what you do is like you show your live data into the KYC provider, and they're gonna take your data. So we thought, how can we generate a DK proof that you're a live human without like giving away your face and stuff? So the way you can run a model that detects whether you are a live person or not, and that model would sign the result, and it would be verified in the contract. So if you do this on user's device, maybe the user device might manipulate the data, and like, even though they're not live, they can lie. So the best alternative would be to use a trusted execution environment. So for people who are not familiar with trusted execution environment, it is a special part of the computer CPU, and you can only do computation inside the TEE, like, and nothing would be leaked out. It's mainly based on like hardware security module. It's not like ZK, which is software. The trusted execution environment lies on the assumption of like hardware security module, and the HSM would sign the data. But as I said earlier, we cannot verify those like TE signatures inside our compact proof. So we try to simulate our like browser as a trusted execution environment, and you do your face live detection in your browser, and your browser would sign it, and that would be verified in a compact proof on chain, and you can make a proof that you're a live person. And it was really a nice experience for me. I learned a lot doing that. Also, when I was also one main thing I want to talk about it, when I'm doing virtual hackathon, like I'm trying to solve everything on my own, sometimes right on Discord, but I don't have the lively support here. When you're in London, everybody's there like to help you. If you get stuck, I can just come to you and ask, or I can just go to Idris, go to Jay, and like, it's very accessible. And I want more in-person hackathon. I'm saying in the live, I don't want to wait 1 year, additional year for the next Midnight Summit.
Yeah, I remember you're right on the Sunday just before the summit, and we met with a few people in a bar, and you were already on your laptop, like you were the only one on your laptop. So that was funny.
Yeah.
I think I also think we should make more of them. So it's a lot of organization, but it's very interesting to meet people that you talk with all the time on online, and then you finally get to meet them in person. So that's a great experience. And also in general, when you have an in-person hackathon, there's like a different vibe, with the developers. It's a very interesting place to be. And like if someone needs help, like you can go directly to the desk, you can check the code, it's a better experience for the developers who come to get help. What did you build during the hackathon, the summit?
The summit, like the liveness check app.
Oh, okay.
There was
That
like
one.
some kind of some parts were not complete, and the judge. Unfortunately, we didn't win the prize. I cannot win the prize every time. I have to let other contestants.
Yeah. That's how it works.
So the judge said, like, you won way too many hackathons. Now it's time for other teams, and I'm sure the other teams did a good job.
Yeah. There were a lot of great submissions, a lot of great apps that were created during the hackathon, during the summit. It was a great time. Yeah. Okay, so maybe now we can talk about the last hackathon that you won,
Yeah.
and the app that you created.
Yeah, so after the midnight summit, not winning that hackathon, I said, I could not sleep. I said, I have to win another hackathon. I should keep my title. Otherwise, life is gonna be very tough for me. So I saw one hackathon organized by Imperial Blockchain Association. So uh, I thought, what can I do with like using Midnight? And one thing Midnight also in general ZK proofs make possible is playing a real-time strategy games on chain. So we have two kinds of games. Some games, like for example, if you play chess, we can play it online because there is nothing you're hiding. It's not any, there are information complete and information incomplete game because every information is completely seen on the chess. So you don't hide anything. But when you are playing poker, you don't want your card to be seen by other opponent. Or when you are playing Call of Duty, you don't want your position to be seen by your opponent. So we have to hide the data. And also Vitalik, like back in 2012, 13, when Vitalik started, like the reason he get interested in blockchain was he used to play a game, and all of a sudden, like the games decided to nerf his character. Like they take away some power from the character he had earned it like by doing like a lot of work. He said the game should not be under central authority. But since right now, like till this time, we don't have a lot of games on blockchain, because if you want to play real-time strategy games, your move is going to be open. And with the introduction of ZK Snark, you can actually hide your position, and at the same time, you can prove that you're following the rules of the game. And given like the Imperial Hackathon has only, we have like 6-7 days, I say, let me try to do something that can be doable, also like showcase the potential ZK proofs app. I want this example to inspire other people and to do like more ambitious games on Midnight. So I think everybody's familiar with the game Wordle. Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty popular and a lot of people heard about it. If you want to explain quickly, like what you have. I mean, I know that your implementation is a little bit different from the standard one. So maybe you can explain how the game works in general and how you implemented it for the hackathon.
Yeah. So Wordle is a word guessing game. There is a word, for example, there is a word called hello, and you try to guess the word. So when you're guessing, if you guess the word at the correct place, you'd get a green mark. If you guess the word, but for example, let's say you guessed trees, and the word was hello. E was on the second position, but in the word three, E is on the fourth position. So you get like a yellow mark. And if the letter does not exist in the letter, you'd get a gray. You can just Google Wordle and see the game online. So my idea was, how can we play this peer-to-peer? And you can, for example, before you start the game, I'm gonna commit a word. I would think of a word, you're gonna think of a word, and we try to guess each other's word. So if you want to play this in non-centralized way, I should commit that word somewhere so that when you ask me to check, I'm not gonna like lie to you or say something else. So how can we make this commitment? And we have this blockchain, decentralized technology, but if I commit my word, you can just go through like the blockchain history and like see my word. There's not gonna be fun in the game. So what you can do is, what people have been doing in the past is you can hash the word. Hashing is, for people who are not familiar with hash, it's like a one-way function. You transform the word into some encryption form and you cannot go back. But if you hash the word, like in English, there is limited number of words. So you can hash all the dictionaries. Like hashing the word might take you some computational power for the first time. But if you have the encrypted version of every word, you can just check that with my encrypted version and like find that if you do a binary search, you can do it in logarithmic time. So the other innovative way would be, I'm gonna commit a word, but along with my word, I would have a secret salt. So a salt, for people who are not familiar, salt is some random string that you can concatenate with the word and put it into the blockchain. So now, if you're not gonna just check against the encrypted word, but you have another 32-byte character along with the word, you should check in. Like hashing 32 bytes is very computationally expensive. It doesn't worth it, at least to win a Wordle game. So what I did was I have my word and my salt. I would hash them and I would put them on the blockchain. You have your word and you hash it with your salt, which is also secret. You put it in the blockchain. Now, imagine both your word and your private salt is still on your device. You're not sharing anything. You're just sharing a commitment. So when I try to guess your word, like let's say you think of Tezos and I would guess a word, you'd say, did he guess the word correctly or not? You check it and you send me a proof. And without even seeing your word, I can be like, rest assured that he's checking the word against what he has committed. I don't know if people are not familiar with this idea, they can go to my GitHub repo. I wrote a very good README. Like it would explain the idea behind it and how this game is not possible without using decay proofs. I'm gonna share it on the screen. You already did.
Yeah, it's already on the screen. Yeah, thank you.
So it's a peer-to-peer game. Maybe I can show you a code walkthrough.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. Yeah, so we can have an idea about how you implement that kind of game, in Compact. Just like a high level, because some people are not very technical in the audience, but something very high level, just to say, okay, this part does that. That's how you guess the word. That's how you verify it. Like things like that.
Sure. Then can you see the screen right now?
No. Oh, okay. Okay, now it works.
Okay. So you go to the contract folder and you have wordle.compact. Can you see the contract, or the page is not moving?
No, the page is not moving.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna close all the tabs. How about now?
Oh, okay.
So inside the contract folder.
If you can zoom in a little bit so we can see the code better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, perfect.
So like the standard pragma, you have we have two states. We have a player 1 state and player 2 state. They have a public key. I'm keeping the public key because, like, if you want to join your game from a different device, like if you try to join your own game using your wallet from a different device, like it would make sure you're playing against yourself. So just check. You have the word hash. The word hash is like the hash of the word and the secret salt. This guest list, guest result, these are custom struct types. And you have the same thing with world 2. So the important thing is you have three witnesses. You have a secret key, a player word, and a player salt. So first, you, like in the contract, you create a constructor, and the constructor initialize the contract. So you have an empty word and an empty result. So the game starts here. Actually, if the game state is waiting P1, you join the game, and you have the secret key coming from your witness file, and you hash it. Yeah, this line is the most important one. So the word hash we're putting on the blockchain is the hash of the secret key, which I added to do more additional security. Actually, I can just use the salt and the word, but if I add another private variable, it is almost impossible to brute force the word hash. So I have these three hashes that would be on the blockchain, but both the secret word, the salt, and the word are still on my device. So player 2 also joins the game. So how the game works is I'm gonna guess, and when I'm guessing, I will guess your word, and you would guess my word, and at the same time you would be verifying my guess. So one action actually does two things at the same time. I will guess and I'll verify your previous guess. So when it's player one's turn, it would bring out the local secret key, the public key, and it should start. Yeah, it would try to verify P2's guess. So I would verify the previous guess, and I would make my own guess. Here, because there is something I used. Here I'm having the guess result history. Yeah, I think here. So in the guess results, like I'm saving all the previous guesses and putting them on the list. I don't know, it got a little bit messy. But basically, when the player is calling the turn player one, it would guess a word, and at the same time it would check if the previous if the previous guess has how many words correct, how many words wrong, and there are like preliminary checks. In the real world game, you can only guess 6 times, and it should be your turn to guess. This assert statement are commonly used. Also, you should be player one.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So when you're saving the individual letters for the word, you're saving them as their ASCII code? Is that what I saw in the
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. So for people who are listening and don't know about that, one of the limitations at the moment for compacts that you cannot create a string within the contract. I mean, you can send it as a parameter, but you cannot create it within the contract. So actually, Kaleab created a very smart solution for that. Where like you encode the ASCII code. I mean, that's very smart. Like didn't think about that before. So you're using the ASCII code, to encode the different characters. Like
Yeah, definitely.
impressive.
Thank you very much. I think it's better if you ask me and I answer, because the code is like I have all
Yeah,
this
well, I think that was a nice walkthrough, and we have an idea about what it does and how it works. Yeah, I think when we're talking, you were talking about front end. Were you able to deploy a front end for that, or are you working on one, so people can use it?
Yeah, actually, so I did the contract, I did the API, I tried to get it on the CLI. Yeah, sorry. Before finishing, there was something I want to show. So there is a function that does the guess, that does the evaluating the guess, and when you are evaluating the letter, like you get the correct letter from your own local device. When you're verifying, you get your own word from the local device, and you get the word letter, and you check against like if the guess letter is the same as the word letter or not. And after that, if the return is 2, it's gonna be green and correct position. If 1 is wrong positioning, and it will be yellow. Like these values, 2, 1, 0, would be manipulated in the front end to be like green, yellow, and red. So to come back to your question, sorry. I did the API and the CLI. Then on the front end, I was having some problem with the local testnet. So I asked it in the group, and very kindly, Sergey shared me some script. So I ran that, and I did it on the undeployed network. Actually, the front end, you can clone the code and like play with yourself, because it's undeployed. It only runs in your local device, but the front end works like perfectly. but it's hard to play it on peer-to-peer. Actually, one of my aim for today was like, if I had the chance to make like we can play it online and show people like how you can play a privacy preserving game and in a fun way.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, maybe that's going to be for another time.
Yeah, also games are like the best way to attract people. For example, if you take a developer and give him like 10 pages to read about how privacy preserving network work, he's gonna be bored after some time. But if you play him game, he'd be like more interested. You want to learn more. And I believe we should create like more this kind of games.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point.
Also, there was a project Catalyst last month, and I applied to do another game that's fun and like would bring a lot of people into privacy preserving games.
What game is it? Can you talk about it? Or is it
It's
secret?
it's a secret, but I'm gonna reveal it now. No, it's not secret. The proposal has already been submitted. So it's a game called Mastermind. You can Google it. It's more like Wordle, but you have colors.
I think I used to play that when I was a kid. It was on a board and like with different colors, different.
Yeah, something like that. So people. Also, when I was a kid, I used to play. So you have a board, and there are 4 holes, and you try to. The mastermind would have like some 4 color combination you already knows, and you try to guess like which color belongs into which hole. And if you guess this is the correct color, I think it show you white, if not black. Something very similar to Wordle. But
Okay.
my aim for the proposal is like to show people like actually ZK could be fun and you can play games using zero knowledge proof, which is not possible otherwise.
Yeah. I think the ZK blockchain is ideal for that kind of use case, where you have to preserve a state and you have to guess that state, but you don't want to reveal it at the same time. But you want to be able to share it in a decentralized way. So in order to be sure that nobody is cheating. So yeah, that's a great fit for that kind of use case.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we've been talking a lot about the hackathons that you took part in. So now you have a lot of experience with the hackathons. So we continue running hackathons, and we also have different programs. So, for example, the Zealy Quest, where people can submit projects to. And I was thinking that maybe it would be great to ask you for some advice, about projects. Like now that you have more experience, what would be the advice that you would give to people who would like to submit a project on Midnight, whether for either for a hackathons or for a Zealy Quest? What would you advise them to do for the code or that kind of thing, to have a better chance to win?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because there is a lot of ways you can contribute to Midnight and like get rewarded. Just like you say, you can do a project on Zealy, or there is like bounties. If you go to, for people who are listening, if you go to the Midnight Network contribution hub, you can see like there's a lot of dApps you can build and like get a bounty from, and like different kind of projects like last month there was a project Catalyst where you can apply for a grant and like build an app. So the first thing I would say is it's a great time to build on Midnight. You're gonna be rewarded. The community shows you appreciation. You can come to YouTube and like spread the word. So you get a lot of perk. So, So the first thing I would say is like try to understand the documentation and like really try to understand how Midnight works, because I see people like submitting projects and they're just using AI, LLM. Like everybody uses LLM, but they don't understand how it works, the background. Like they don't understand the beauty. Sometimes I get angry when I see people like submitting some projects without really reading the documentation, because there is a beauty in ZK Snark, and it's not just like another blockchain. People like ZK zero knowledge proof has been like developed for the last 40 years, and there is, you have a great tool, and try to understand ZK and like the applications you can do on top of them. After that, think of a problem in your daily life, that like a place where you don't want to share your private data, but you have to share it because there is no alternative. And you can just use ZK by proving something without revealing the data. And I would say like go to Discord and like listen what people are talking about and like ask your questions there. Also ask AI like how can you leverage this technology to build something meaningful. And on Zealy, not only like to build a project, there is like a lot of tasks that lets you develop yourself and like improve yourself. Also, one of the beauty of Zealy is like if you complete different challenge, you'd get accepted into a very special program. A very special program that I recently joined and want to talk about, and that's called Aliit Fellowship. So Aliit is a word from Mandalorian, and it means a clan, a family. So once you keep contributing to Midnight, Midnight actually becomes one of your, it would give you like a part of the clan. You become part of the clan, part of the family. And it's Aliit Fellowship is a program where technical people who are contributing to Midnight get together and strategize how to make the ecosystem better, reach out to developer, like organizing different event, workshop to educate people into the Midnight ecosystem. Personally, I'm planning to organize a Midnight meetup probably next month in January in Istanbul, and like get people to know about Midnight. And you'd get closer to the mentors, and you can ask your question there. If you want to create a video, for example, and you are a Midnight Aliit fellow and you want to create a video, but you don't know how to edit or how to make a thumbnail, then like people from the Aliit would come and help you. So it's a way to improve yourself both personally and technically.
Yeah, I couldn't have explained it better myself. Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, the Aliit Fellowship is a very small group of people who are very technical on Midnight, like yourself, and who like not only help other developers who are building on Midnight, but they also help us. So they bring us some feedback, and they work with us and our engineers to make Midnight better. Yeah, do you have any experience at the moment? Like, did you already like contributed, or are you just planning at the moment to make meetups or?
Yeah, I'm talking with Samson, the development engagement. Yeah, I'm planning something very soon, hopefully. If my plan works out, it would be happening soon. It's like, as I told you, there is people who are passionate about ZK in Turkey and in Istanbul. So I will try to gather them in like Midnight, tell them about everything about Midnight.
Okay, great. Yeah. Are you before we finish? Are you working on something at the moment, or do you have an idea for an app, for a future hackathon or anything that you want to work by yourself?
Yeah, I have a lot of like every time before a hackathon begins, I'm already thinking about like what to build, because in Midnight you have all those things that are missing but that can be built, and I'm thinking of like doing different kind of libraries. Like it could be signature verification libraries. I'm thinking of doing interoperable, like doing some kind of bridges with to do inter-blockchain communication with other blockchains. Also, some other cool dApps I would be doing in the future. I don't want to give a spoiler.
Oh, I think we lost Kaleab. He's frozen. Is he frozen only for me or? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe let's just wait 10 seconds. See if he comes back for a last word. So yeah, that was very interesting, this conversation. And okay. Okay, let's just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he's back. Sorry.
So,
But they cut your access to the internet, like you stay too long in that room.
Yeah. They go back and study.
Okay.
Yeah, let me conclude.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I have this ideas I'm trying to build in the upcoming hackathons and like for a community contribution. Also, I want to say I applied for Midnight Catalyst project. As I told you, I want to build ZK Midnight app, mind. I keep forgetting. I keep confusing. I'm so excited. The ZK Mastermind game. I also applied to build a ZK Whistleblower. So what whistleblowing is, like, you're part of a company and you wanna report something about the company that's wrongdoing. But the problem is, if you say that, then people would know, like the people in the company knows you and they're gonna fire you right away. If somebody just submits it without proving they're part of the company, there is no like reason you can believe them, because they can just telling lies or telling bad things about the company. So using ZK proof, I can prove that I'm part of a company, I'm part of an organization, and submit a report, post something without revealing myself. Also, I think whistleblowing is very important. Like 2-3 months ago, there was an employee from OpenAI who was killed because he did whistleblowing. Like he reported bad things about the company, and ZK proof actually it really helps you in real life by making you like anonymous, also part of a group. So if you are active in Catalyst projects, please vote for my ZK Mastermind and ZK Whistleblower app, and stay tuned for my other cool projects that will be coming soon. That's all I can say. I cannot give any more info.
Okay, thank you very much, Kaleab. So thank you very much for this discussion. It was very nice and very instructive. I'm looking forward to meeting you again, either in London or maybe in Istanbul. Like have a dinner or some chai.
You're always welcome.
That would be nice.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Kaleab. Thank you.
This platform.
Yeah, it was.
You. That's still keeping me midnight with support, and thank you for all the people in the comment. I'm also seeing people, and thank you very much. And I hope we'll do great things in midnight. And 2026 is gonna be our year. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna do some cool stuff. Stay tuned, guys. Yeah.
I'm sure we will. Yeah. I'm sure you will. Yeah. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you again next week. I'm not really sure we're going to have another Fireside hang. Stay tuned on social media to check that. But yeah, see you in the next episode of the Fireside hang. Thank you everybody.